Good afternoon. If you teach ESOL, then you know that vocabulary building is a major component of each of the skills, whether it be reading, writing, grammar, speaking. All of those require a heavy knowledge of vocabulary for success. And so today I want to share with you 4 different tips on incorporating more vocabulary building into your courses. That is through a vocabulary log, the vocabulary corpus, one of them that we will see online, and a couple of interactive games that will get your students enjoying their vocabulary study. The first one we will look at is the vocabulary log, and so you certainly already have a way of keeping your students' list of words in order, but there may be some other tips here you haven't thought about. The first one is to make a Google Doc, and I'm going to show you an example of a vocabulary log that I've made for this purpose. And the reason to put it into Google Docs is so that you can share it easily with your students, and then they can share their progress with you. Once this is shared between the two of you, you never need to send it anymore, but you'll be able to see the students' progress throughout the semester. Even if you're the parent and you would like your child to be doing this, you'll be able to see this very easily. So, one thing that's common in a vocabulary log is to have the definition, but to go a little bit beyond that, here are some other tips. So, I find that drawing a picture, when possible, is a really enjoyable process for a student after they get over the fact that they may not be the best artist in the world. It really doesn't matter. It's the engagement of the student with the word in a new way, in a visual way. And doing this online is not the easiest, but there are some ways to do this. So in Google Docs, there is a toolbar at the top that you can see here. And we're going to go to the Insert tab, and then we'll go, as the instructions say here, to Drawing, to New, and to Scribble. But first, let's look at what we have. So there is an example word in the left column. I also put word part here because, as you may know, it's very helpful to study suffixes and prefixes. That way, students can begin to work out the meaning of some words they've never seen by the knowledge of those prefixes and suffixes. So they can either put the word part here or the entire word here. A definition, of course, and then they should put a true sentence about their own life or about their own country here. The true sentence means they're going to remember it more. It's possible they can use that in their daily discussions. And then there is the column for a picture. So this is one that I've drawn. It's not very good, but it is good enough for me to remember what abstain means. And then we have the part of speech. You may want to make a longer page where you have synonyms, antonyms, collocations, and all sorts of things, but this is a starter list for you. So let's look at how to make a simple picture here. Now, some of my students started copying and pasting other pictures online, and that's one option, but I prefer them not to do that because that does not require them to think about the word as intricately as if they have to draw it themselves. So they're not graded, obviously, on the merit of their artwork, but simply whether it can convey to them the meaning of the word. So let's go down to a new spot on this page. Now just go over the picture insertion tip here. So here I click in the box where I'd like the picture to be, and then I go back to Insert, and they have the Drawing tab here. So we go to Draw and New. So you can see that the drawing area is much bigger. It makes it easier to draw pictures or whatever. Now, the first thing you have to do when you get inside there is to click on this drop-down menu. And this will allow you to choose the Scribble tool, which is what we need for drawing. Okay, so some of your students will have a better time at others than this, but just for the sake of example, there's the picture, and then when you finish, you don't have to worry about the size. When you hit Save and Close, you will automatically have the picture scaled to the size of the box. Okay, So that's how that goes. It doesn't take long. They can be stick figures. They can be as intricate or as simple as the student would like to do. But that's another way to get them involved with word building. The next online resource that I'd like to share with you is called the Corpus of Contemporary American English. And this is simply a body of words that are used throughout our society in English, in American English. And I believe there are about 1 billion words on this website that you can search. Now there is a tour here that you can use to make yourself familiar. I'm just going to show you a couple of the smaller ways to use the form. There is really a lot of information, and researchers use this kind of site to do studies, but for us as language teachers or parents of students at home learning the language, it can be useful in a limited way. So let's put a word here. You start on the left, and by the way, I have made an account, and you can make a free account. After you use the website a few times, there will be a pop-up bar that asks you to join or have a membership. That's not really necessary, so you can just close that down and continue to use the account for your simple tasks here. Alright, so what you can do, and again there are many different possibilities here, but I'm just going to click on Word and put a word in. The other way is to put a word in and then click the Word tab. So either way you go, you can do it either way you prefer. So I will type a word here that we may study, and then I hit Enter. Okay, so hit the word Enter, and then we come to a lot of different types of information here. Now the first little chart that we have here shows us how frequently the word is used in different sectors of our society. So in blogs, websites, TVs and movies, the spoken word in fiction, magazines, news, and academia. And so this is a little bit interesting to know where the word is used most often. Another part of this chart that I really like is the collocations that are listed here. The collocations are words that are very often used together with the given word, and they collocate. Okay, they are collocations, and they collocate together. So the nouns that collocate with awaken are listed here. The verbs that collocate with awaken are listed here. The adjectives and adverbs, and so on. And this can help students when they're trying to understand how to use a certain word. Then we also have the synonyms of awaken here, which is a nice other feature. And we also have clusters of words that go together. Just another way to show students how the word is used in context. This is a concordance chart as well, and this will show you from the different sectors and what year the word was used in the exact sentence of that word. And so it has all sorts of color coding, and you can see the different word forms here. You can see that it was used in the different forms and the words that go together. So it's very helpful as students try to figure out how they can use the word to make their own sentences. Another nice feature of this site is that they have some websites that are particularly helpful for English language learners. Some of these are just visuals, so we click on the image here, and it will show us several images with the word awaken. This is one of my favorites, Youglish, where there are already clips of videos, people saying things using the word in question, and you can go through these. There's so many.
Transposition, inhalation, spiritual actions.
Okay, and when you finish that one, you can just go to the next one. They have another clip here.
Is how once we really awaken to the place
so
from, of
people can listen, and they can also see the word used in context, and so that may be good also for your oral communications learners. And play phrase is similar. It will take you immediately to some video clips where they will be using the word in question again. And this one does not require your advancement. They will just simply go through different clips of different movies and so on where that could be viewed. Another tip is to use the game Speed to review vocabulary in your online synchronous classes. And this is actually something that you can also do just at home if you're a stay-at-home mom or dad teaching your children and you want to review new vocabulary. It's a great way to do it. If you're online, you can use the chat feature to write a word to a particular student. Let's say you have 8 students in your class. Choose that student's name from your chat feature and then send him or her a word that you would like him or her to explain to the other students. And the first person who gets the word can also type the answer back in the chat. And that's a fun game. I usually give 2 or 3 words to one student, and we'll also put a timer on the screen so that they can have about 2 minutes. You can make this a fun competitive exercise with teams and scores. I may give a bonus point on the next test to the winning team. That's up to you. It makes a very enjoyable way for students to review their vocabulary. One last tip is to play the game Translation, and this depends on the type of students that you have in your class. This one would require there to be students from the same language backgrounds in your class. So if you may have a couple of Spanish speakers, a couple of Hindi speakers, and so on. And if you do, you can have them on teams. In this game, you will put the sentence in English in the chat. So I'll write one here. Let's say it like this. Put a sample sentence here. Now, you would send that only to one of the students, and that student has to use his or her background language, okay, a native language, and speaking no English must describe this sentence to the other students. If that language partner can say the sentence in English within the time allotted, that team gets a point. So I hope you will enjoy trying to use a new type of vocabulary log, the vocabulary corpus, and the 2 games of Speed and Translation for your ESOL students. Have a great day.